Dyker Heights. Вот. Идея нашего шоу здесь, в принципе, мы вышли на финишную прямую практически перед голосованием в ноябре. Вот. И пытаемся побороть стереотип, который устаканился, укоренился, что республиканская партия — это белые ребята среднего класса без какого-то образования, а нам нужно показать, что...
Даже upper middle class. Это совсем не так уже.
Вот, что это совсем не так. Welcome again. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Wrestling.
Yeah, I was saying that we're trying to explain and break the stereotype that the Republicans, it's only like white guys, middle class, low income. That is why they're Republicans. We're trying to show that Republicans comes in different shapes and forms. That is why we have everybody here. It was like Russian guys, Italian guys, Asian. So you're the first Asian over here. And we know the Asian crime in New York City is terrible. It's horrible. We have to do something about it. Why are you running?
Why I'm running? Okay, I've been doing public service for over 30 years. All right, 24 years in the military service. About over 32 years as a...
Thank you for your service.
Thank you. As an election day worker for about 32 years continuously, except for 1 year when I was mobilized to Afghanistan.
Oh, you served actually in the war?
I served in the war in... not combat in terms of door kicking, but in supportive role in Afghanistan. And my work was at that time was military intelligence. And true story, my commanding officer at that time, if I stayed on another 2 years, he was my vice admiral, McRaven. He's the one who did a whacking job on Osama bin Laden. That was my commanding officer.
Oh, wow.
Whoa.
Vice Admiral Bill McRaven.
He wasn't commanding officer of those special
forces. I was in Afghanistan. That part doing special forces. I was intelligence support for these guys. So whatever they come out.
So you were planning that operation also, right?
Well, if I left early several years before. Yes. If I stayed on, probably.
So you're a rare guest in our show, and we can ask probably this question for you. How you feel about the U.S. leaving the Afghanistan? Or the way it was done?
Disappointing. We shouldn't be there. I mean, after Osama bin Laden, that was the main objective. After that, we should have left. And that's
you're saying we should leave before?
No. We should have left after we got Osama bin Laden.
So in 2011?
Yes. To 2012, I think.
No, they killed him in May, I think, 2011.
11, yeah. Then 12, we've been out, and that's it. That was the whole purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And there was nothing else.
But Taliban would take over sooner then.
They're taking over right now, so there's no difference.
And less people are going to be killed.
Yeah, less people are going to be killed, less treasury.
That we don't know. But
Okay. From the global to the local.
Okay, yes.
Because all politics.
New York. You've been living in New York for many years, right?
I born in New York.
Oh, you was born in New York.
I born in Lower East Side, Eldridge Street. And when I was 8, my father passed away from cancer. So my whole family, before he died, he wanted to go back to his home country, back in China, Hong Kong. So my whole family left there back in 1968.
But it's British. Hong Kong was British.
Hong Kong was British at that time. Yes. And many, even my father's generation, they left mainland China because of the communism, went down to Hong Kong. And a lot of my relatives are there, and they are disappointed right now with communist China right now. Right. Disappointed right now.
Don't you feel like the communism finds you in U.S. right now?
Yes, they probably will. They probably know who I am.
So, I mean, like...
I know.
We're talking progressives.
Yeah, the progressive, like in New York. How you feel about them?
They're misguided.
I mean, somebody did it for them, right? Somebody explained them how they have to think about it.
That's correct. Now, as you were saying earlier, why the Republicans are representative of other sectors, because they're very familiar for the Asian. It's the same family value, core value. What the Republicans are in a different label. We care about the family. We raise family. We believe in marriage with kids. We believe in education. Okay, that's our family value. And as a progressive, been changing those formula, especially like education, specialized high school. All right, you get the Chinese really upset right now.
Yeah, because Chinese kids, by the way, they're much more sophisticated and they get better results. And it looks like because of those, whatever they're doing right now, advantage going to be lost, right?
You have to understand a little bit of history. Over 2,000 years ago, a philosopher called Confucius. I'm sure you heard of it.
Right.
So his main theme is do well in school, take the test to do well, to work for the government, obey the authorities, respect the elders. That's our Confucianism principle.
That's
that comes down.
conservative in the basic.
Well, that's family value. That's how we live. And now the progressive are changing that value. So that's why people are against, especially education, because we believe education. I'm sure in Russians that's the key to advance yourself. The key to advancing career.
Well, that's only one way to escape from the low-level families and incomes.
Agreed. Including myself. I'm a first generation born to complete a college. My mother and my father didn't have the opportunity.
Right. Understood. But can I ask you, in your community, in Asian community in Brooklyn, are progressives taking hold, or it's not that popular?
No, they're not taking hold. Because I have to thank Curtis Lewa last year. He gave us the numbers. He won Sunset Park and Flushing 2-1 versus Eric Adams. 2-1. And Sunset Park and Flushing are overwhelmingly Democrat. Why is it? So Curtis Lewa is public safety. He represents education, supporting education, and does not support homeless shelter within the community. And that's also give us a problem right now, is homeless shelter within the community.
So how you are offering, what's your offer, how to solve the problem? Because they were trying to open one shelter on Brighton Beach on Neptune Avenue. It was great scandal. Unless they use some bureaucratic means to avoid all the problem altogether. But what's your solution to it?
My solution is very simple. I've been preaching for several years, okay? Is build a homeless transition shelter in Rikers Island.
Big one, you mean? Like
Yes.
hub.
Well, actually, 100 years ago, Rikers Island is a army base, a training army base. So we can take that concept for the homeless people, is to build those shelters, train them, treat them, teach them, and pay them to stay there long enough to get cured. Because most of them have addiction issues.
It's curable?
Most of them have addiction issue, all right? Most of them...
Psychological issues also.
That's correct. So you separate them, you train them, you treat them. And
I'm sorry for interruption, but all those on Delancey, not in the midtown, between downtown and midtown in Manhattan, there are also some shelters, right? So you're saying that also those shelters should be relocated?
Shifted, right?
Oh, wow.
Because one thing is, those shelters are temporary. Because in the morning, once they're kicked out, what do they do with those homeless people?
Yeah, they sleep outside, right?
They got to make a living.
Right.
They're panhandling. So in Rikers Island, be like a military, all right? As long as you sign an agreement, because they're getting paid to stay there. That's the key thing. Once you stay there longer, the longer you stay there, 1 year, 2 years, then they build up savings account. So when they're prepared to move outside to the mainstream, they got money in their pocket, put money down payment for rental. Right now, there's no such thing for them. Okay, right now they're just basically sheltered with no treatment, no follow-up. So that's my plan. I've been preaching that for over 4 years. Build it at Rikers Island. No one in Rikers Island will complain about homeless people.
Well, listen, that's voluntary thing. Are you forcing them?
No.
So how they're not really normal, some of them. They're not really adequate. So you're going to tell them, listen, come to my place here in Rikers Island. It's going to be like a prison.
Okay. Now, this is from my experience talking with homeless people out in the streets. One thing I do know, they know one commodity that they know very much is money. No matter how crazy they are or how they know is money is the most important thing. That's the only resources that they know to get what they need to. Self-medication, like such as drugs. Money is the main commodity that they understand universally. You can talk to anyone. Any homeless.
In U.S., that's my only belief that you're homeless by the choice, actually.
Oh, sickness.
No. Well,
sickness.
Let me finish, please.
Yeah.
I have experience, in my life. like 10 years ago, we had a business in Upper East Side, Manhattan, and there was a homeless over there, and a lot of social services was coming to him and offering him the food, clothes, shelter, basically. But only on the one circumstance, do not use drugs or alcohol. And he was like, no, I cannot do that. I want to use drugs. I want to use alcohol. That is why he was like sleeping outside. That's his choice. And most of them, they choosing, stay outside to use drugs and alcohol. So basically, that's the homeless by the choice.
Yeah, or addiction.
Yes.
Or addiction, whatever you're going to call it, so you have to fix first, not just give them, in the suburban area shelters.
So you offer about money and moving them to Rikers Island may not work with them.
May not be work, but once you get enough of them, the critical mass, when they start seeing and hearing stories, hey, I'm getting paid, I'm getting fed, all right, I'm being treated humanely,
Right.
okay, not like a jail, okay. Rikers Island had to be completely repurposed from ground zero in a proper treatment facility in a most humane environment. You have to do that. So make it inviting, just like the European models or Sweden model. You make it inviting. And you're talking about as an island. So give them some time, walk around the island, give them some privacy, some thoughts, just like anyone else. And besides, looking at the skyline in Manhattan is therapeutic enough.
True.
So we have to do something. That's a big change. We're wasting money. We're paying $300 a night for the hotel room. Right?
It's crazy.
It's crazy. So why can't we build something like that in a more humane, in an inviting environment for them to stay? Pay them. Seriously, pay them for their time. Because as long as you pay them, it will avoid all that ACLU about, hey, you're holding this person hostage or against their right. Because they're paying, and as long as you're paying them, they accepted all the terms and conditions. That's my solution for now. It's a start. The way it is not working. It is not working.
Okay, we have less than 100 days till November 8th.
Yes.
The midterms. How you feel about it? What are you standing actually right now?
I feel optimistically because I'm against with an incumbent who's been there for over 20 years.
Yeah, as most of them actually.
Okay, and
they've been there for decades.
Yes, and this gentleman had personally passed is no cash bail law. That's the fatal mistake.
It's like Zeldin experience recently doesn't show them that it's not working at all.
He does not mention anything about that when questioned. He doesn't say, of course they're politicians. I'm not a politician. I'm just a retired.
But you all have to become one, right?
Yeah, I'm a retired military. I'm bringing that experience, and I ran for office several times in Manhattan, and I told at that time in Lower Manhattan an incumbent State Senator Brian Kavanaugh. I told him that I would term limit myself. Would you? I would do no more than 12 years. Let the other generation will go to replace me. Because I don't want to be there forever. Hey, I want to retire and relax.
Right.
But let fresh idea comes in. I would term limit myself even on this air for no more than 12 years of service, no more or less. If I see something positive, or I see somebody has a better idea than I am, or I'm just tired, let somebody else to replace. This is not a permanent job for retirement. It's not. You should term limit yourself, get fresh ideas, do a turnover.
So you're saying the limitation of the terms will work?
Yes, it should be.
It's good. It's a good idea anyway.
Yes, it's good.
3 terms is enough, probably. 3 for 4 years is enough.
Yeah. I would agree 100%
so it comes out to either 8 to 12 years. I would limit no more than 12 years, and that's it. Right now, State Assembly, there is no term limit.
No, unfortunately.
Besides the no cash bail law repealing the thing, what else can be done to increase security and safety in our city?
Now, I've been preaching for about almost 4 months. The next governor, for those who have the guts and the balls, all right, declared New York City as a disaster for crime wave. Once the governor do that, I know it's not good for the mayor, then you send in the National Guards to patrol the subways, every subway station, every platform. We're talking about 3,000 to 5,000 National Guard for 1 year. Because I know that. Because right now in New York City, do you see some soldiers in Port Authority or airports? Do you see some soldiers in there? You should see that. That's under Homeland Security and under operation called Empire Shield. almost 20 years since
Right,
after
since
9/11.
September 11, right.
After 9/11, so we can expand their mission. Mobilize 3,000 to 5,000 in every single subway station, every train, every bus. Because once you get a critical mass of soldiers in a subway trains, all those riffraffs, all those young thugs, they can't do anything.
That you can just return, stop and freeze. It's much cheaper.
That's correct. And NYPD or Transit Cop would love to have that on because they have all that people on their backs. Can you imagine a squad of soldiers, 6 to 8 of them in a subway and only one cop? He will love that backup in case there's a riffraff on a radio. Hey, car number 2, we see some potential problem. So all those soldiers be rushing in there. When you see that many soldiers in a car, of course, the public would say, hey, there's safety in there. So you have to control that visually and objectively is to stabilize it. We need that. And the mayor doesn't have the manpower for it right now. The governor have the authority and they can do it. And at the same time, is declare an emergency at Rikers Island. Because you heard about the Rikers Island, that the federal government about to take over the management of Rikers Island. And right now they just back off. The governor has all the authority to take over the governor's Rikers Island. Why not? Because they don't want to mix politics with, hey, I'm the mayor, I'm the governor, you're the mayor, you deal, that's your problem, and that's your lane of the road. But it shouldn't be. Then they should employ National Guard, 2,000 or 3,000 at Rikers Island, because there's a lot of military police that are experiencing correction facilities, and then up and down management from Rikers Island is to clean house management, but just do the day-to-day supporting the correction officer, because they're having problems, not enough of them, they're working overtime. So let's put some National Guards there to help them out until we can straighten out that mess. The governors have that authority.
Well, the security actually that leads to another problem: the small businesses in New York. Unfortunately, it's not safe to open a store.
That's correct.
Because you can be robbed and you can basically do nothing about it.
Why can't we employ more National Guard to help the cops? Employ more.
I mean, you can. Yeah. Right now, you cannot even hire the cops because nobody wants to go there for $45,000 a year at the freshman.
Yeah.
To serve, because you're not secure at all. Not your family, not you yourself. How we can attract more people to go to the police academy?
Well, here's the problem right now: is the Black Lives Matter and
does it still exist?
And the concept of defunding the police. There's the progressive thoughts, all right, defunding, and of course, I'm opposite. We have to fully fund the police, hire more cops. You need that, and of course, it's respect too, and there's bad blood on both sides on the police force and the people of color in the community. It's bad. So you have to have a come to terms of respecting each other, because other places, other parts of the country, United States, doesn't have that kind of friction. In a big city, there is friction between the police and the community. And I've been told, all right, that within the young black youths, they're preaching on let's do violence against the police. That's why I'm hearing about that too. Okay, and that's not the way it's supposed to be. You're supposed to obey the police, not fight against the police, because that's the wrong thinking. And
yeah, I've seen the video on social media where the kid, 4 or 5 years old, black kid, fighting the cop.
Yes.
And what are you gonna do about it? What are you gonna do? But he has this thought in his mind. He can find them. He can fight those guys. Well, will be the last question. November 8th. How you think New York gonna vote on November 8th? Do we have a chance?
Certain area will be turned over, and I hope the area that I represent will turn over, because the community are upset the way the laws and
everything.
Yeah, everything.
Worse,
yeah,
right.
It's upsetting our basic core family value. Upsetting completely. Education, like public safety, cashless bail, homeless, because the current administration and current political environment is not solving that problem. Actually, it's compounding it.
Last 8 years, it was going to hell, right?
Yes, yes. So a certain area that doesn't have that many progressive voters will probably come out vote opposite.
How much
Can
time
you
do we
speak
need?
for the Asian community, actually, how they're going to vote?
Okay, well, Asian community, because of Curtis Lee, while he represents public safety, Flushing and Sunset Park overwhelmingly support him. Chinatown in Manhattan, not so much, because it's not Chinatown from the demographics is not growing as large as in Flushing or Brooklyn.
Yeah, because of prices of the real estate and stuff, right?
Mostly are older people living in there, the younger people moving out.
Uh-huh.
All right, and the surrounding neighborhoods are being displaced by young transplant from outside of the city.
Right.
Right, they can afford the apartment, so they're bringing their ideas, and not necessarily Republican, but
Right.
more progressive right now. So Chinatown is by itself is slowly dying, or more and more elderly people are remaining. But Sunset Park and Flushing is completely different. It's growing. You can see it. You can see the restaurant. It's crowded.
Well, you have few minutes, to address your speech to those who's like still thinking about vote for you or not on November 8th. You can talk to them right now.
Okay, most important thing is don't think for me as a party,
Okay.
Republican or Democrat. Think of it as what I have done. I'm not a politician. I'm a retired military person. I'm straight and honest as I can be. I'm doing public service, okay? And my conviction and my ideas, as you can hear over this air, is radical, isn't it? Completely different from what you hear from politicians. I have real solutions, radical solutions, but I think it's doable, makes sense solutions than other politicians. That's why people, I hope they can listen to my logic and will vote for me.
Radical times needs radical solutions.
Radical solutions, right. Thank you very much. For
Thank you very much.
Success.
Господа, это был Лестер Чен, ветеран Нэви войны в Афганистане, кандидат в ассамблею штата Нью-Йорк от округа 49. Это Sunset Park, Boro Park и Dyker Heights. 8 ноября, меньше 100 дней осталось до midterms. Мы всех приглашаем на избирательные участки голосовать за кандидата, который вам ближе по своей адженде, которую он представляет. Thank you very much and have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.